Hi everyone. There's a lot of stuff going on in America with regards to immigration at the moment. I'm sure you've seen the pictures of kids in cages and being taken away from their mothers crying, and audio tapes of them crying, and when they were taken from their mothers by these border patrol agents and ICE or whoever they are. They said they were being taken for a shower and a bath, and then they'd be brought back, and they just never were. That's Nazi Germany level stuff, let's face it. But there's a story that I saw yesterday which hasn't got as much press, and it indicates to me just how stupid this policy that Trump has ramped up, that was there under Obama and Bush, but it was ramped up under Trump. There's no doubt doubting it, and it's causing massive problems. This is the story. Jogger, who accidentally crossed the US border from BC, detained for 2 weeks. A woman from France visiting her mom in BC says US Border Patrol held her for crossing into Blaine Wash. And there she is. Cadella Roman says she was jogging on the evening of May the 21st when she was approached by two US border agents and detained for entering the US illegally through Canada. This is not the southern border, this is the northern border. The article says this. A visitor from France says she was jogging along a beach. So she's along a beach. Probably got her headphones in. She's jogging along the beach of White Rock, BC when she crossed the US border without realising it. So began a 2-week nightmare that landed her in a prison jumpsuit. She's 19. Cadella Roman, 19, didn't know it at the time, but as she ran southeast along the beach on the evening of May the 21st, she crossed a municipal boundary and shortly after an international border. As the tide started to come in, she veered up and onto a dirt path before stopping to take a photo of the picturesque setting. She turned around to head back, and that's when she was apprehended by two US Border Patrol officers. An officer stopped me and started telling me I had crossed the border illegally, she told CBC News. I told him I had not done it on purpose and that I didn't understand what was happening. Roman said she didn't see any signs warning that she was crossing into the US during her jog. She was informed by US Customs and Border Protections officers, the Gestapo, that she had entered the country illegally, which they said was captured via security cameras. I said to myself, well, I may have crossed the border, but they'll probably only give me a fine, or they'll tell me to go back to Canada, or they'll give me a warning. Exactly. I mean, if she can say, well, I've only jogged. She can't have gone that far. The house must be quite close. So she could obviously prove, hey, I'm just visiting. This is an honest mistake. Instead, she gets locked up in a jumpsuit for 2 weeks. And here's the picture. You can see there's the beach, there's the river or lake or whatever it is, and it looks quite picturesque there. They just detained her. Roman, a citizen of France who had travelled to Canada to visit her mother in BC and work on her English, didn't have any government-issued ID or travel permits with her. She was out jogging. Why would you take your government-issued ID with you out jogging? I go jogging many times with my dog. All I take with me is literally the dog lead and maybe my phone so I can put some music in or listen to a book. Her mother lives in North Delta, BC, the article says. She said the offenders, the offenders, I'm not going to change that. She said the offenders detained her for crossing illegally into Blaine Wash, Washington, and transferred her more than 200 kilometers south to the Tacoma Northwest Detention Center run by Department of Homeland Security, brackets the Gestapo. They put me in caged vehicles and brought me into their facility, she said. They asked me to remove all my personal belongings with my jewelry. They searched me everywhere. Then I understood it was getting very serious, and I started to cry a bit. No shit, I think I would have started to cry. I'm a grown man. Roman said she was able to contact her mother, Christine Fern, who rushed to the detention centre to provide officers with documents including her passport and study permits. Fern said workers on site told her she had to present the documents to Immigration Canada to determine if Roman was eligible to be... There's a word for those people in the UK. It's called a job's worth. More than my job's worth, they say, when it could be easily done. Roman was held in custody for 2 weeks before immigration officials on both sides of the border confirmed she was allowed back into Canada. Then she was transferred back to BC. It was just unfair that there was no sign at the border, said Fern, who visited her daughter several times while she was detained. It's like a trap. Anybody can be caught at the border like this. And here's what they said. Here's what the other side said. Did they apologise for it? Did they come out and say, I'm really sorry, we'll look into our practices, we'll change it, we'll change the security at the border, we'll do all the sensible things to stop it from happening again. Here's what he said. Spokesman for the US Customs and Border Protection said that anyone who enters the United States outside an official port of entry and without inspection has crossed the border illegally and will be processed accordingly. Zero tolerance, basically. This, quote, this applies regardless of whether or not the individual claims to have inadvertently crossed the border, said the department in a statement. It is the responsibility of an individual travelling in the vicinity of an international border to maintain awareness of their surroundings and their location at all times to ensure they do not illegally cross the border. Additionally, it's important for people travelling near the border to carry identification at all times so that agents or officers can easily verify their identity. The family is unsure if Roman will be allowed back into the United States. Roman, why the hell would you want to go back there? That's my question. She probably doesn't. Why would they? Let me tell you something, America. And I know a lot of Americans watch this, and I know they're going to be appalled and outraged at this just as much as I am. But if this carries on, if this rhetoric from Trump and his administration, this fascist regime, gets worse, or the people in America don't stand up and take back their democracy from these people who are just running amok and turning it into a fascist regime, you are not going to have any friends left in this world. The country is going to turn around and look for support from another country, and they're not going to get it. Apart from maybe the UK, but then they always get support from the UK government. We are the Americans' lapdogs, after all. The only way that will change is if JC wins a snap election, wins an election, and I think there will be one soon, as I've said many times. He won't support America in their wars and their fascist policies like this. This is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Remember though, there's a reason Trump can do this. There's a reason he can do it. And that's only because previous administrations laid the groundwork for him to do so. Speak out, get angry, and get active, because this shit has got to stop. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and please click the bell down there so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Otherwise, YouTube will hide the video from you. Yes, they have admitted that they do that. Also, we're facing an absolute onslaught in independent media from the establishment at the moment, including YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube whatsoever. I rely totally on the audience for me to continue doing this. So if you can afford to send me $2, $3, $5, whatever it is that you can afford through Patreon, again, the link is down there, I will be eternally grateful, and it'll allow me to keep giving you the truth and cut through the propaganda and the BS that we get from the corporate and establishment media. If you can't afford to do it, please share the video as wide as you can. Talk to your friends and family about the issues that I and other channels on YouTube who are independent raise. Thanks very much for your support. We have to fight back against this. Till next time, peace and take care.